Новый смартфон HTC Sensation XL с наушниками Beats. Почувствуй ритм.
Good evening. This is just a rant against a Swiss company. It's Sunrise. If you have a chance to avoid doing business with them, please do. My mobile phone, I had to switch mobile phones, came back from London and got an exorbitant bill from Sunrise. We called them and said, we didn't order these services. We called an attorney. The attorney said, well, don't pay for them. You didn't order them. And they kept sending bills until they canceled my mobile phone. Now, the mobile phone number I have had for about 8 years, and I've had it with them for 2 years. I asked my wife to cancel the contract, but Sunrise is a sleazy, slimy company. They put in a 2-week period, the only time you can cancel without some sort of horrendous penalty, to get rid of them, just to get rid of them if they're not doing good service. And we missed that. So now they've canceled my contract, said that I didn't pay, which I did pay for everything, and took my phone number, the number that I've had for 8 years. I'm trying to get it back. I'll keep you posted on that one. I know you'll hang on the edge of your seats riveted. But it doesn't end there. About 6 or 7 months ago, and it just made me think about it because I tried to go online in my house, and I can't go online if anybody else is online. And we've been calling Sunrise, and I saw their trick the other day. I called and got Horwath or somebody from some witted Indian accent, okay, I want you to go downstairs. I said, I'm not going downstairs. No, I want you to plug. I'm not going to. I said, listen, we've done this. Look at my notes. Look at it. We started this months ago. You ran me through this. I can't help you if you want to work with me. I said, I'm not going to do this. I said, I'm calling to tell you that we want to cancel a contract. Oh, you can't do that. So my son called a couple of times, and he said, look, we've had intermittent service for months. Look at your records. Look at how long. This has been going on for 7 months, 6 months, something like that, 5 months, somewhere in there. But when one person gets online, somebody else gets bumped off here. And they sent us a new modem. They had us call an electrician out. That cost us $900. And then they said, oh, you have to plug directly into the modem, which is, of course, bullshit. But every time, about 4 times, they've had us unplug the phones, leave them unplugged for a while and plug them back in. And my son said to the representative, we've been through this. We've unplugged phones. We've done everything. We went out of the contract. And he said, well, read your contract carefully, sir. We don't guarantee service. They blamed it on other interferences from other electromagnetic internet devices, but we're in the middle of a small village in Switzerland, and there's nobody around us that has internet. The guy is across the street, is 100 meters away. So if you have a chance, if you're in Switzerland, if you're an American living in Switzerland, if you have a chance to do business with Sunrise, don't. They're very unscrupulous. If you sign a contract with them, they don't guarantee service. You can only quit a very small window, a couple of weeks a year. If you don't quit in that time, then there's some real exorbitant quitting fee. They say they won't give me my mobile number back because it's theirs, and I have to pay them $400 or $500 Swiss francs to get that back. And they say that we don't have enough merit to cancel the contract for our internet service. I don't know what merits it. I don't know what, when your service hasn't worked for 6 or 7 months, I think that warrants it. But an American doing in business in Switzerland, watch out for Sunrise. They're not a good company to work with. They write shitty contracts and don't guarantee their service. Just a rant, www.micpeakperformance.com.
Okay, so I'm continuing on with the Korean Zen meditation retreat that Nicole and I did. Popping out was an interesting experience. I was sitting in meditation, all of a sudden started shaking violently. It was like an epileptic seizure. But I was still sitting. I was still sitting in the meditative posture somehow and shaking like crazy. Afterwards, Simon, who got me to the retreat, said the monks want to see you. They've got a big tub of water. If you can just sit it and shake, they need to do their laundry. Which was funny in a surreal kind of a way. And then I went and spoke with the man who created the experience, Subal, and his interpreter, and asked them how to deepen the experience. But the next day, everything was okay. And I went for a walk, and there's a big loop around, and it's deceptive the way it goes. I mean, I'm not good at directions anyway, so maybe it's not that deceptive. But I started out in the loop and ran into one of the other practitioners, and she said, "You're not going to be back in time for, I've tried this, you're not going to be back in time for the Dharma talk." And I said, "Oh, I'll be back in time." And I went out, and I got, out 2.5 hours, and got to this place, this little village, and it was very definitely a small Korean village, and a little uncomfortable being there for me. I mean, I'm a chicken, and it's absolutely safe here in Korea. Nobody's going to hurt you as far as I know. But got there and thought, oh, I don't know where to go from here. So I went back 2.5 hours, 5 hours hike, and missed the Dharma talk. But when I got back, Simon said, "Have you seen Nicole?" And I knew that she had had her experience. And so she said it was one of the most magnificent things. I want her to do a talk on this. I want her to talk into my iPad so you get just how the experience was for her. It was magnificent for me, but her description of it was just absolutely compelling. It was magnificent. And some of me got a sense that I had to be as far away from her as I could be for her to have the experience. It may be bullshit. It may be incorrect. It may be mind interpretation. But I was absolutely okay being lost on this walk for hours. Tired, mind you. It's up a lot of hills, down a lot of hills. And the interesting thing was, a couple of days later, we made the same walk, and I saw where I made the wrong turn. Right? A couple of days later, we made almost the same turn that I had made when it was the wrong turn, and I ended up exactly where I ended up when I was lost. And I can't say I was lost, because I wasn't. I knew where I was. I knew how to get back, but I couldn't figure out how to get where I wanted to go. So maybe that's the definition of lost. But we went on this walk, and we got down into this little kind of a villagey sort of area, and I thought, well, this is where I've been. Yes, this. And I was within a half a kilometer of the front door of the monastery where we worked at, and I couldn't find it from there. And we walked around this corner. I said, "I can't believe this." I walked back over 2 hours to get back to where I went, and it would take me another 10 minutes, and I would have made the Dharma talk. But I was out there enjoying life. Nicole had her experience, which again I want her to talk in front of my iPad so y'all can get what this is about. And I highly recommend it. It's a different way of getting into an alternative reality. And anybody who's been searching, I think that they would really, really, really enjoy it. It's not easy. Let me be real clear about that. It's not easy. If you follow Subul's instructions, it's not easy. But it's worth it. www.micpeakperformance.com.
The next few videos, what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm in my office in Switzerland. I'm going to attempt to allow you to see the similarities between the experience that I had, the Zen Buddhist experience in Korea, and the work that I do. I ask a question of people, and I've said for years that I ask a question that's a seemingly relevant koan, which means a koan is a question that once you get the answer, experientially you change. And that's really what I had the example of in Korea. This man asked a question. It was seemingly irrelevant. It was a question that I don't want to take away from the experience. If you do, go to the experience. But what you had to do was you had to look for the answer to this question. And the question was seemingly simple, but really difficult as well, and elusive. But the answer, what couldn't be answered with a yes or no, the answer became an experience that you felt, that shifted your consciousness, that shifted you into another dimension, and allowed you to see you. And I see that this is what I've been doing for years with people. This man claimed in 8 days he could take most people, and I don't think he got most people in that class. Because there were a lot of intellectuals in the class. And what stood between them and themselves in this, I know that sounds elusive and odd, but
but they were trying to think their way there. And what he did with the question, if you wanted the result, I guess is what I have to say, because maybe it's take it seriously, but a lot of people did take it seriously, and that's not what got them through. But if you really wanted the result, you had to follow the instructions, bypass your mind, tell it to shut up, do what he said, trust him, look for the answer, and then there had to be a generated doubt or anxiety, generated by you in your desperate search for the answer. At the end of the event, I was talking to one of the intellectuals, and he looked pretty beat up, just worried. And I said, "Did you get it?" And he said, "No, I didn't." He said, I've been studying Zen for a lot of years. He said, what's different here is, he said, the system that I study doesn't generate doubt. He said, this is new to me. I don't understand what he's trying to do. And it kind of made me chuckle. I didn't chuckle out loud because he was in some distress, but I don't know how you can get a person out of their mind into the direct experience of life without generating some doubt. And what I do know now is that they have to be willing and desperate for the experience. Of all the intellectuals, I think one made it through, and there were a bunch of them there. And a lot of them just intellectualized the whole thing away. They weren't desperate. It's like, oh, well, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And this man hosted everybody. He paid for everybody to be there. Maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I know that if people work with me, usually there's a fair amount of desperation. Whether it pans out into an experience is always a curiosity. But putting up with me for 3 days and the fees that I charge, you got to be pretty desperate. Have fun. www.micpeakperformance.com.
Welcome to a whole new world, where Samsung LED technology brings you sharper images, deeper blacks, and brighter colors. The ultra-slim Samsung LED TV, a whole new species of television.